HSC Mindset MM channels live programs.
Hi, this is HSC Mindset channels live programs for the hierarchy of safety documents. Today we are going to discuss about the hierarchy of safety documents. The safety documents, how it's structured, that is important. When you are structuring the documents, there are certain elements required. So when you have certain elements, that elements is always is a basic for the safety documents. So the safety documents is always is a systematic manner it applicable. So when you have a safety document, these are the basic requirement of the any kind of safety management systems. So the safety management system itself, there is a triangle. In this triangle, the top and the bottom. So the structural arrangements of the safety documents is always from the top to bottom side. So when you have the top to bottom, you must have the proper, the safety procedures you must have. So when you have a safety documents, that will speak always the, how you are carrying out the various the safety procedures, working sections, and then the control procedures, everything needs to be played. So when you have a safety documents, these safety documents is always key for any kind of safety management system. So this safety management system is always needs to be studied properly, because these standards for ISO 45001, it's a 45,000 is a occupational health safety management systems. In this occupational health safety management system, you have to have a documentation is the first part. Before implementation, the documentation part you have to thoroughly study, and you have to thoroughly needs to be implemented. First you must have a document. Document is the first point where the auditing to be done. So here the topmost document is policy. The bottommost document is for records and records and checklist. So bottom, records, checklist. Then policy is the top document. Which policy? Safety policy. So safety policy is the first document, topmost document. When it's come to the bottom side, records and checklist. So when you have a overall, in this policy, you have overall commitments. So when you are making for a policy of the company or corporate, you must have a commitment of reducing the pollution, or reducing the accident incidents, preventing the accident incidents, and committing the good accident-free workplace, committing the risk assessments, committing the safe workplace. So that is the policy side. The topmost is the policy. So when you are implementing the occupational health and safety management system for, we can say 45001, 45001 ISO, Occupational Health and Safety Management System. So in this system, documentation comes like this. First, policy. Second, procedures. Third, method statements and work instructions. Then risk assessments. And then toolbox tasks and training. The finally, bottom line, records and checklist. So, being a safety officer or HSE professional, you have to align the document as per these ratios. You have to align the document as per this ratio. So first you must have a policy. So before, those are, in companies, those are trying to get ISO 45000 means you have whether ISO 45001 or ISO 14001. This ISO 14001 is for environmental management system. ISO 45001 is occupational health and safety management system. So, in this occupational health and management system or ISO 14001, this kind of documentation is there. The documentation hierarchy. First top most is the policy. The bottom line is records and checklist. So, the policy is always the top management of the industry's commitment. In case of 14001 means, it's environmental commitment. In case of 45001 means, it's a occupational health and safety commitment. Accident prevention commitment. Then welfare of the employees commitment. Good accident-free workplace commitment is for the 45001. So top management give a statement saying that this company following the legal and the legislations of the occupational health and safety, committing that. So legality and following the local and international rules and regulations of the occupational safety, and committing the providing the safe working environment for the laborers and preventing the accident, incident, injuries, doing the risk assessments routinely. So that is the commitment for the top managements. That is called the policy. So this policy needs to be signed by top management. So that is the first document. Then procedures. Second one is procedures. So this is a standard work method. What we can say? Standard work method for each and every occupation. Yes, each and every company has their own procedures for each and every work method. How it's related to the work method, how they are going to do safely. That is the procedure. How they are going to do this safely. For example, in a company, the raw material processing. So in that raw material processing is a procedure. In that procedure, you have to mention what are the safety standards you are following, what will be the procedures for the safety handling the equipments, safety handling of the various process. So that is the elaborating the procedures, in which we have the emergency preparedness and the response is a procedure. So many procedures will come. So this is a standard working method. How they are going to working method, that is the procedure second. The third one is method of statements and work instruction. Third, in this hierarchy, third one is method of statements and work instructions. How the people follow the working section as per the occupational health and safety 45001. If the company following the integrated management systems, that is ISO 9001, ISO 45001, ISO 14001, means HSE, integrated management system, we can call it as a HSE, health, safety, environment. So in that case, you can have the 3 standards, sometimes 2 standards they integrate. So here we are seeing that safety management only. So that's why we are talking about the documentation wise, everything more or less same hierarchy like this. But here what we are talking about, safety documents. So the third one is working section and method of statements for housekeeping is a method how to work. So there is a working section. So the working section means housekeeping means there will be a working section. In that working section, you have to mention that how safely and what are the safety points included in that working section. So that thing you have to have. So that is the third part, working section or method of statement. Then fourth only risk assessments. You all know that one, risk assessments. Before any work in industry, you have to identify the hazard, assess the risk, put the control measures. So that will be the major and main role for occupational health and safety. So when occupational health and safety, you have to identify the hazards, assess the risk, put the control measures, that is the risk assessment. So each and every procedures, operation procedures must have the risk assessments. So you have to attach the risk assessments in that. So it means the fourth document is risk assessments. Then you have a fifth one, toolbox tasks or training. All kinds of trainings and toolbox tasks. So before starting the work, you have a toolbox tasks. In that toolbox tasks and training, HSE training, HSE induction. So everything, everything you have to have a proper records. So you have to maintain the record when auditors coming and auditing for your industry. You have to maintain the document like this. First, policy, procedure, method of statement, risk assessment, and toolbox tasks and training records. So whatever HSE training, whatever toolbox training you are doing, you have to maintain that records. Then last one, bottom, records and checklist. So every day there is a daily HSE checklists are there. So daily HSE checklist you have to keep filing. And also the records. For example, medical records, first aid records, first aid information records, fire extinguishers records, fire emergency preparedness and response drill records. These all the records comes under this bottom line, records and checklist. So when auditors coming and auditing, you have to show them the records and the checklist for proof verification side. So verifying whether you did emergency preparedness and response, whether you did proper way of safety checkings, fire extinguisher checking, fire alarm checking, then various housekeeping checking. So these are the checking records, checklist and records. In case of ISO 14001, you have hazardous waste disposable records and wastewater records, drinking water records, and then EB bill, electricity bill, e-waste. So these all records comes under this last bottom line. So when you have a safety document or environmental document, it's not a matter. Whatever the documentation, the auditor will see your documentation side like this. First they will see policy. Then they will ask the concerned MR, management representative, and ask, okay, as per the standard, you must have a policy. They will ask you, where is the policy? Then you have to show them the policy of the occupational health and safety policy of the company. Then they will see whether all the classes requirements, ISO classes requirements are fulfilled or not. If it's fulfilled, okay, no issues. Then they will audit the procedures. So as I said, one company having the various operations. So each operations having the procedures. So that procedures audited. For example, the HR functions is a procedure. The management meeting is a procedure. Internal audit is a procedure. So emergency preparedness and response is a procedure. So each procedures are audited by the auditors. So they will see the classes and audit. They will ask the procedure and see if everything fulfilled or not. Then they will audit the method of statement or work instruction, whether that work instruction having the having explanation this safety information or not. For example, work instruction for welding, we can say work instruction for welding. In that welding or gasketing, whether you already mentioned that health, safety, environment point of view. In case somebody is doing a welding work, then what will be the safety concerns? So that work instruction, keep the fire extinguishers, keep the first aid box nearby, always be safety, wear the personal protective equipments. These are the safety points. So the auditors see the work instruction of welding, work instruction of gasketing, work instruction of grinding, work instruction of scaffolding, work instruction of crane work instruction of forklift work. So these all the work instruction, whether mentioning the safety commitment, prevention of pollution is there or not, the auditor will check in that work instruction. So if it's okay, it's all mentioned, no issues. If anything deviated, there will be NCR, that is non-conformity. Okay, so they will give a non-compliance report. So if it's everything okay, no issues. Then risk assessments. So they will see the fourth one, risk assessments. They will study the risk assessments. Auditors see whether the risk assessment done for all the job, and also it's timely reviewed. If in case of any change in the environment, any change in the system, any change in the work area, so in that case, and any accident, then you have to again review the risk assessment. If accident, any big accident happened in that particular procedure, then risk assessment needs to be reviewed. That kind of things normally auditor will check. So that is the risk assessment side. Auditor will check each and everything, whether you placed all the works and you missed out any works pending. So like that they will see, and in case of anything missed out, what they will do? They will give non-conformity or non-compliances. So ask them to add some points. That is the role here in the risk assessments. Then toolbox tasks and training. In the toolbox tasks and training, they will again the auditors verify the toolbox tasks, whether you did properly toolbox tasks, whether these toolbox tasks contain the safety informations. For example, housekeeping means whether it's coming the prevention of pollution, and people always using the proper safety words during the toolbox tasks. The records are there for the toolbox tasks, and also the training, the HSE training done properly in a scheduled manner, and there is a proper topic, all kinds of topics are there, all kinds of topics are there or not, that will be checked auditors. Okay, so the toolbox tasks and training is comes under the 5th place. So they will come like this hierarchy. Then last one, records and checklist. So they will check records and checklist. The last part, whether you have a proper maintenance, firefighting system maintenance. They will check the firefighting when you did last maintenance, on date verification, tag verification, whether first aid continuously they change the medicines, or when they continuously checked the first aids, and who is the first aid trainer. These all checked by the auditors. So all checklist comes under the bottom line. So they will check one by one like this. So normally each and every documentation, whether corporate, company, is not a matter. But documentation side, you have a first safety policy, or environmental policy means environmental policy, or quality policy means quality policy. Then procedures. If ISO 9000 means quality policy, ISO 14000 means environmental policy, ISO 45000 means occupational health and safety policy, or we can say call it as a safety policy. Then procedures means as per the safety procedures, quality procedures, or environmental procedures. Then method of state work instruction means here the work instruction for safety, and also risk assessments, toolbox tasks, and record checklist. These are the overall the placement of the safety documentation. So the hierarchy of the safety documents comes from the policy top and ends with the records checklist. So that is the way of this safety documentation works. So being the safety professionals, you must know the how this documentation placed. Then what is the hierarchy of the documentation? So when you are doing internal audit, or somebody is coming and auditing from outside to your industry, in that case you must know the how they are going to audit. So you must categorize the documentation side. So you have to make a hierarchical documentation filing, hierarchy documentation filing. So when external audit is coming, you have to first show them the policy, then procedures, method of statement of the work instruction, the risk assessments, toolbox tasks and trainings, and the records and checklist. You have to file it separately, and when the auditors ask, you will give one by one like this documents. So if no issues there, no NCR, but any issues are there, they will give the non-conformity report, that is NCR. So NCR means so you have to clear that NCR. So the normally auditors coming and auditing means they will see the documentation. After that, they will verify in the ground line. So when they are verifying the ground, they will check the policy side. They will go to each and every department. Everyone knows the policy, that they will check. The procedure, they will go to each and every department, check all the procedures are properly communicated to the employees. Everyone knows the procedures like that. The same thing, the method of statement, work instruction, risk assessments, toolbox tasks, the training records. Then records and checklists, everything, they will go by each and every department and check whether the communication done, and then checklist are properly checked. Everything they will see as a evidence. So after seeing the evidence only, whether it's a conformity, non-conformity, that they will give. So conformity means okay. Non-conformity means it's something deviation from the system. So they will give non-conformity means so you have to make it some corrections corrective actions. After doing the corrective action, then you can ask the auditors again and show them we have received 2 to 3 non-conformity last time. So we have corrected that one. This is the corrective action request. The corrective action completed. So now everything okay. Again they will see non-conformity okay. Then they will give the certification or auditing final. So that is the way of the safety documents and auditing procedures overall. So that is the hierarchy of the safety documents. So I hope you understand this hierarchy of the safety documents and how the auditing procedures goes, because it's it's one of the major knowings nowadays. Most of all the companies, they are ISO 9001. Some companies for quality, so some companies ISO 14001 for environmental management system. Some companies for ISO 45001 for occupational health and management system. So occupational safety management system, that will be the ISO 45001. So these three standards always integrated. That is HSE, health, safety, environment. So quality, safety and environment. These three standards are integrated. The documents also comes like this. Instead of policy, HSE policy, HSE procedures, HSE method of statement, HSE work instruction, HSE here risk assessments, and also the environmental impact assessments. Environmental impact assessment, the risk assessment, then HSE toolbox tasks, HSE trainings, HSE records and a checklist. That is the integrated form of auditing and the documentation. The same thing. So that things you must know it. Being a safety officer, safety professionals, you must know the documentation side. That time only you can easily attend the auditing and get the proper certifications for the company and get familiarized in that. So that is the end of the safety documentation hierarchy. So that is the end of our training. We have a 29th August, coming 29th August, it means next Saturday, we have a Zoom online training, 6 o'clock Indian time, 6 to 8 o'clock Indian time, Zoom online training for risk assessments. It is paid training. It's a paid training for risk assessments, hazard identification risk assessment training. Based on this training, you can well versed in the risk assessments and its interactive sessions. You know it more how you can do the risk assessment and what are the method to do the risk assessments. This risk assessment training is a basic training you can get and you can familiarize in that. Then whenever you join in the company, in that consultancy company or contract company, so when the client asking to do the risk assessments for some works you are getting, being a contract company, you are getting some works from the client side, so they will ask you to do the risk assessments. In that case, when you are familiar in that risk assessment, you can easily do the risk assessment and submit to the client and get approval, you can work. So that kind of importance are there, risk assessment. Each and every safety professional must know the risk assessments. This is a paid service, so there will be a booking registrations are there, registration open. So you can book through the WhatsApp or through the email. So it's already there in that our YouTube channels, channel short itself. There is a short, short itself. We have mentioned it's a pamphlet also there in the post. Our HSE Mindset channel post itself, pamphlet also there. Through that, you can just send, after paying the amount 1,000 rupees, you can send a confirmation. So we will book it and give the registration confirmation and link also we can share. So this is purely, highly technical interview, technical information So definitely you can join and it more enough, and also it will give the your career upliftment in that safety point of view. So if you wish, you can join. So as per the timings, as per the date mentioned there. So thanks for viewing our HSC Mindset channel. So still you didn't subscribe the channel, subscribe it, share it, like it. So if you are subscribing only, you will continuously get the updates, continuously, immediately. You can you can easily get the information whatever we are sending to. So keep on watch. So that is best. So you can always recreate to attention in that HSC Mindset channel. So you can join it. If your friends also there, tell them to subscribe it HSC Mindset channel and like it, share it. We are having the continuous live classes and also the HSC informations and a lot of HSC oriented exclusive informations are available in that HSC Mindset channel. So don't forget to watch it, support the channel. So thank you very much.